Hey everyone, imagine encountering someone who has taken an oath to serve and protect you, so you should be able to trust them. But instead, they hurt you. That's exactly what happened to Susana Morales in today's case. I'm Melissa Compton, and this is Crimealytics. Susana Morales was born on June 24th of 2006 in Atlanta, Georgia, and she was the youngest of three daughters. Now, everyone who knew her described her as funny, kind, sweet, and sarcastic. She had a passion for music, and she was a talented singer and piano player, plus she taught herself how to play the guitar and the ukulele. Susana was an active cheerleader at Meadow Creek High School where she was a freshman. Now, she was born in Atlanta, but she grew up in Norcross, a suburb of Atlanta. And she was extremely responsible. She always let her mother know where she was going to be, who she was going to be with, and when she would be home. July 26 of 2022 started as a seemingly normal day for Susana. She helped her mom at work because she wanted to make some extra money, and that evening around 6 o'clock, she told her mom she was going to walk to a friend's house that was located in the Sterling Glen apartment complex. Now, this complex was less than a mile from her house, and she had been there many times before, so her mom didn't think anything of it. At 9:40 p.m., Susana texted her mom and said she was on her way home. But unfortunately, Susana never made it home. Her mom tried calling and texting, but got no response. And then at 9 o'clock in the morning, they went to the police station to file a missing persons report. The police response was frustrating, to say the least. They told her she had to wait 48 hours to report her daughter missing, and they suggested that Susana had most likely run away. Now, this is a very bad problem that we have in the United States. We have an issue of if a white girl goes missing, it is all over the news. But if it is a black woman or girl or indigenous woman or girl, then it's like it didn't happen, or they ran away, or they chose to leave, and it's not taken as seriously, and that is absolutely tragic. Left with no other options, Susana's family took it upon themselves to investigate and raise awareness in the community without the help of the police. They passed out flyers, spoke to neighbors, and asked local businesses if they had seen Susana, and thankfully the community stepped up. Local businesses provided footage which showed Susana walking near Singleton Road and Indian Trail Lilburn Road around 10 p.m. According to her phone records, between 10:07 and 10:21, she was walking in the direction of her house. But by 10:26, her phone pinged a mile east of her home in the opposite direction. And then after that, her phone stopped pinging entirely. So Susana's family is desperate for help, and they're trying to find it any place that they can get it on their own because the police aren't helping and the local news stations aren't helping. But luckily, a local Spanish news station, Telemundo Atlanta, provided crucial early support. But even with them picking it up, the other news stations weren't doing anything. And Maria, Susana's mother, felt discriminated against by the police and even the news stations due to language barriers and their ethnicity. It wasn't until August the 29th, over a month after Susana disappeared, that the Gwinnett County Police Department finally issued a press release. And even then, they claimed to have exhausted all leads and stated that there was, quote, no indication that Morales was in any specific danger.
And Ron, just hours ago, Gwinnett County Police tell me they believe they've run out of leads after looking into Susana's case for over a month. And now they're asking for the public's help, something Susana's sister has asked for since day one.
It's frustration of not knowing where she is, not knowing anything, you know? Like, all I ask sometimes is just, I just want to know where she's at so I can get her.
For more than 1 month, Jasmine Morales has been praying for her younger sister's safe return home. This surveillance video captures the last moment 16-year-old Susana Morales was seen July 26th. She was walking home near Singleton Road and Indian Trail Lilburn Road after visiting a friend.
Something happened in between the place that we got the camera footage from and our neighborhood, and that's like a minute apart. So something happened in that little minute, and we just haven't been able to figure out what happened.
Gwinnett County Police initially considered Morales a runaway, but tell 11 Alive it has exhausted all leads and now needs the public's help. It adds that there's no indication the teen is being held against her will, but her sister thinks otherwise.
So we know that she's not out there because she wants to be. She will never do that. I mean, it's been over a month. It would have been like, so she would have contacted like her boyfriend, my mom, me.
And even after that news conference, the Morales family was still having to do everything on their own. They were following up on leads. They were making trips out of state. They were checking with local businesses, and they were even trying to find her on social media. On February the 6th of 2023, a driver pulled over on Highway 316 between Drowning Creek and Barrow County. They walked in the area, and the driver discovered skeletal remains.
Body camera footage shown in court today showed the wooded area where Matthew Gilbert says he stumbled across human remains, later identified as those of Susana Morales.
When you said remains, what did you see?
Specifically, I found a human skull.
A series of witnesses, including detectives and forensic investigators, described looking for other remains and finding the majority of Morales's later on as the investigation continued.
The remains were later confirmed to be those of Susana Morales through dental records and DNA. Unfortunately, the cause of death could not be determined due to the condition of the remains. Now, this discovery sent shockwaves through the community as hope and grief turned straight into anger, and you can't really blame them. They have been saying she's missing and something's wrong, and the police are saying, well, we don't think she's in any immediate danger, and then all of a sudden they ask for her DNA and her dental records. That is absolutely insane. On February the 7th, investigators found a handgun near where Susana's body was found. The handgun found near Susana's remains belonged to Miles Bryant, a 22-year-old police officer, someone who took an oath to serve and protect and to not harm anyone, and his gun is found at the scene. He had reported his gun stolen on July 27th of 2022, the same day Susana's family reported her missing. And he also lived at the Sterling Glen apartment complex where Susana was last seen.
Hello?
County Police, hello.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, can I get an officer? I should have called a non-emergency. I'm sorry. Can I get an officer just to do an inter and auto report, please?
To do a what report?
Inter and auto.
Okay, what's the address?
It's 3258 Windscape Village Lane in Sterling Glen Apartments.
What apartment is?
It's E, but I'll be standing outside.
And your name, please, sir?
Miles
What's your last name, Miles?
Bryant.
And what's your phone number you can be reached back on, please?
678-891-8632.
And what kind of vehicle is you got, please?
I'm sorry?
What kind of vehicle do you have?
The truck, black truck.
Did they break the window? How did they get in?
No, ma'am. I think I left my door unlocked.
All right, patient. We'll get somebody out there as soon as we can. What's the name of the
All right, thank you so much.
complex? What's the name again of the apartment complex?
Sterling Glen.
All right, we'll get them out there as soon as we can, sir.
Thank you.
What's up, man?
Hey, Mr. Bryant.
Y'all probably getting slammed, I'm sorry.
No, you good?
Yeah. Man, so yesterday, I don't know what time, man. I went running around here. I did a bunch of stuff yesterday. And I came back, I went to the store and everything. I had it at the store, and I came back, I went running everything, and then my girl was finna leave. I was like, I got my wallet. I don't know where my wallet at. So I can't find my wallet. And then this morning, I worked Doorville. I was getting my dry cleaner. I got to work tonight. And then I looked on my floorboard, and my Glock 19 holster is on the floorboard. And my Glock 19 is always together, you know?
Right.
So, I I hate to say it, I think I left my door. They ain't smashed the window or nothing. I fucked around, left my door unlocked. The biggest, I know, man. I get on people all the time. I take inner auto report. But I just want to at least put that, on GCIC.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It was in there when you went to the store last night, correct?
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I looked down this morning and saw my holster. I said, I can't find my wallet. My holster's there. My gun and holster is never separate. We the people conceal holster. If I take it, I'll take the holster. I don't carry it free. So that's definitely missing. You want me to get the serial number for you real quick?
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And if you run my tag, I'm the registered owner. I don't have my wallet, so I have my ID on it.
No, that's fine. Do you think your wallet was in the truck as well, or?
I think so, because I didn't. The pants I had on yesterday, I took it in the house, looked through all the grocery bags. I only went in the house, and I came out here and I ran around in there. But I'm the courtesy officer here. And then last night, when my girl got back from, we did something. We came back. I drove around a little bit, and I needed to do patrol anyway. I drove around a little bit, see if I could find it. I didn't see it. It was dark anyway, but.
Okay. Either way, I'll list it in the truck just to say it's on our report.
Yeah. I don't really care about the detective stuff like that. I just want to get on GCIC at least. Some person get caught on the side of the road with it.
No, I got you.
Yeah. Y'all getting slammed?
Honestly, no, not really.
West side moving, boy. My lieutenant in the guard is Soto. Lieutenant Soto. She works with y'all on one side. I think she works night.
And everything's just standing on the jet file?
Yeah, standard. I got a TLR, I think 7. The little small light on it.
Small light up?
Yeah. That's it though, jet. No red dot, nothing like that. I don't really care. I have 1,000 guns in there, but
that's fine. No markings, gradings, nothing changed, no back plate?
No, nothing sexy. Nothing.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
And then wallet, anything special about a wallet?
The only thing on it, can you list, at least in the narrative, that I have my military ID in there? Because if I can't find it and it don't come up, I'm going to have to go. They need, they request a police report for military ID.
That's fine. Any debit cards, credit cards?
Yeah, debit card stuff on there. I check it, none been used. I've been using my Apple Pay, but none been used.
How many debit cards?
I got Navy Federal debit card, Navy Federal credit card, and Chase debit card.
And then driver's license?
Yeah, military ID. That should be it. And
no cash?
no. If it was like $10, I don't know. A few dollars, it wasn't nothing big.
Trust me, I'm the same way. I don't carry cash on me.
Yeah, I don't carry cash. I carry maybe like $10 just to have cash, but I hate cash. I got the little, it's like a little money clip wallet,
Yeah.
It's like the little card holder with the clip on the end.
Like a generic black, brown, or was it name brand? Black.
Literally black little card holder. Like a little Ridge, like a wannabe Ridge wallet, the cheap version.
Like $10 worth?
Yeah. It wasn't nothing expensive. The main thing is just getting that gun.
Okay. Do you remember what you paid for the gun?
Man, I bought this gun so long ago, man. I got the blue label, maybe 300, say. I don't know how much the blue label is nowadays.
Now, we know how this ends, which I'll tell you a little bit later, but if we didn't, this is too much to be a coincidence. I understand innocent until proven guilty, but if this is all that we have at this point, that is enough or too much to be a coincidence. So something better be happening, and fairly quickly.
Hey man, like I said, I'm Sergeant Poppy. I'm Carter's supervisor. So, as you can tell, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Trying to figure out why your gun is where we found Susana's body. Okay, why you're making phone calls stationary the night Susana went missing. We're trying to figure out why this is happening. How can this be you? And you're not giving us any reason that it's not you. Does that make sense to you? So as we continue to go through this, we're just going to keep looking for more and more evidence. And we have other stuff. We have your truck. parked in front of her house.
It's not parked.
It's there. Listen,
You told me yourself you cannot deny the photo that was taken by the LPR.
But I was never parked in there.
So you know the way those cameras work.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. So line up. Just line up the coincidences. Okay. Mm-hmm. What would you think? What would you think? You know, what else can we think? You know, if you can't give us an explanation for it.
Given the facts that we've told you, what would you think if you're in our shoes?
I understand.
So now as we continue to go through, I know you said the truck that was parked out on the road as Susana's walking by is not yours. Honestly, at this point, I can't believe you. And there's ways, and we're about to pull it. We're going to pull your box out of your truck. I don't know if you know the way Burla works, but it keeps a year's worth of data. So now that we have your truck, we're going to get that too. Do you drive your truck often?
Yeah.
You drive it a lot, back and forth to drill and stuff? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of data on there for us to see. We're going to know everywhere you go. Listen, all I know is Susana went missing on July 26th. Mm-hmm. Okay? July 27th at whatever it was, noon or 11 o'clock in the morning, you're reporting your gun stolen. Okay, when you reported your gun stolen, you said you came out in the morning and realized it was stolen, but then you also told us that the night before you went looking for your gun. You told the officer that. So your story didn't even line up in that. It's on body camera. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So your information does not line up even when you reported your gun stolen. So as we continue on, every little tidbit that we found is pointing towards you. And at the end of the day, you can't give us any information on why your gun is there and why you're there for an extended period of time.
In the same spot that her body was found.
You know, something happened that night. Something happened that night, and we need to know what it is. This poor girl's family. You know, we're giving you this opportunity. You know, be a man. Tell us what happened.
I did.
Well, what happened? How can I physically and articulate all this stuff that you're not involved?
I don't know. I was by myself the entire night besides when my girlfriend was chasing me.
That's not a good answer. And your girlfriend's going to tell us she was chasing you that night.
Yeah, she remembered it.
Okay, so she's going to tell us.
Did she start chasing you because she hit her
on the car?
You had Susan in the car.
No.
And that's when you hit 85 and you went up, you went through 16. Susana's freaking out that you're driving erratic, your girlfriend's chasing you.
No.
And something happened.
No. No.
Unfortunately, I can't believe you. I have to go with what we have here. Last person that was anywhere near her was you. And I don't know how any other way to not say it's you. You know, we've pulled up all your stuff and we've done our research. And there's no way for us to identify this as not being you. And I know you know something. And you're locked up. You're just not telling us. I get it. But the problem is when you have your day in court, you're not going to be able to tell anybody why you were there because you can't tell us now. This is it. This is your opportunity. All of a sudden you can't make up your mind. All of a sudden when you're in court, you can't come up with a story. Because that ain't going to look right.
Everything we've told you is going to get displayed in front of a judge, in front of a jury. She went missing from the street you live on. The same night that your gun went missing, your gun is found with her body. Your phone puts you in the woods the night she went missing.
For an extended period of time.
This is not a coincidence. You need to man up right now, be honest, and give us some closure. Give this family some closure.
I am.
Well, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm saying I am. Like, I'm telling the truth. Like, I do not ignore her.
On February 13th of 2023, Bryant was arrested and charged with concealing the death of another and filing a false police report. Why he wasn't charged with murder at that point, I'm not sure, because like I said before, that's too many coincidences, but I guess the police had to finish their investigation. We'll just leave it at that. He was subsequently fired from the Doraville Police Department, where he had worked since September of 2021. Now, prior to that, he was a deputy in Forsyth County from March of 2020 to May of 2021. Before Susana's disappearance, Alicia Bates came forward and she said that Bryant had stalked her and attempted to break into her home. She provided Ring doorbell footage showing Bryant lurking around her door, and he even made sure that his face was seen on camera, so there is no doubting it was him. And he even managed to break into her home when she wasn't there. She reported the stalking to both the Gwinnett County Police Department and the Doraville Police Department, but neither department took significant action. So keep in mind, this is before Susana Morales went missing. He had already been reported for stalking.
I've known him since 5th grade. We grew up together.
Alicia Bates now believes her childhood friend, former Doraville police officer Miles Bryant, stalked her at her Snellville apartment last year. She believes this Ring video her neighbor gave her is Bryant, as he lurked around her door, trying her knob, wearing a hood on his head. She says he even broke in one time when she was not home.
Well, my neighbor told me that she saw Miles come into our community and listening to my door when I wasn't home and just trying to see if I was home, messing with my doorknob and stuff. She told me, and when she showed me the video of him, it was all alarming. I was shocked. I felt like it could have been me, because he was the person at my door coming and unscrewing my knob and kicking it down and stuff like that.
In July, she says it was a screen grab that led her to identify the man in the fatigues as Bryant, a man she knew who tried to reconnect with her, but she was not interested. She says Bryant became so aggressive she feared for her life and reported the then police officer to his employer, Doraville Police, and even Gwinnett Police.
Bryant had also been accused of trying to break into another neighbor's house in 2018. So it begs to question if Susana's murder could have been prevented, if Alicia's concerns had been taken seriously, if the police departments would have listened to her and even seen the Ring doorbell footage and taken it seriously.
Ms. Bates believes both police agencies dropped the ball.
I don't think they took the matter serious because he was a cop. However, I do feel like if they did, Susana could still be alive.
On February the 22nd, Bryant was charged with felony murder and kidnapping, in addition to concealing the death of another and falsely reporting a crime. The chief of the Gwinnett County Police Department held a press conference providing a timeline of the events leading up to Susana's death.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Chief J.D. McClure of the Gwinnett County Police Department. Today I'll be providing an update as it relates to the death of 16-year-old Susana Morales of Norcross, Georgia. Before I begin, I'd like to extend my condolences to the family, friends, and former classmates of Susana on behalf of the Gwinnett County Police Department. Additionally, I will take you through a brief timeline of events and then provide for you an update as to where we are today. On July 26th at approximately 6 p.m., we know that Susana Morales left her home on Santa Ana Drive in Norcross and walked a short distance to the Sterling Glen apartment complex on Indian Trail Road. There, she met with her friend for about 4 hours, and at about 10 o'clock, she began her trek back to her house. We know that between 10 and 10:30 p.m., Susana had an interaction with an individual and ultimately was not seen or heard from again. This case was immediately assigned to our Criminal Investigations Division, who worked diligently on this case and followed up on a number of leads and tips. However, those leads and tips did not come to fruition. We know that on February the 6th, a citizen who was walking in the area of Drowning Creek Road and Highway 316 happened upon skeletal remains. The Gwinnett County Police Department sealed that crime scene. The Gwinnett County Medical Examiner took custody of those remains, and they were positively identified as having belonged to Susana Morales. The following morning, February 7th, we brought out a large contingency of police personnel and conducted a methodical and meticulous search known as a grid search. And during that search, we located a firearm that had been reported stolen on July 27th. This is the same day that Susana was reported missing. That firearm we traced back to a 22-year-old former Dorville police officer named Miles Bryant. Bryant then became a person of interest in our case. We continue investigating, and on February 13th, we secured warrants for concealing the death of another. Since that time, our criminal investigators have been working this case continuously, and we have reached a threshold to where these charges have now been upgraded to felony murder and kidnapping charges. I would like to thank the Gwinnett County District Attorney's Office for their assistance, along with the Dorville Police Department.
And even though they found a gun near her, they said they do not believe that it was the cause of death. But as we said earlier, they couldn't really tell what the cause of death was due to the decomposition of the body. So if it was so decomposed that you couldn't tell what it was, how can you rule out that the gun wasn't her cause of death? And that's something we may never know what their reasoning or rationale is that made them make that decision. Police go on to say that they do not believe there was any prior connection between Susana and Bryant, even though he lived and worked as a security guard at the apartment complex where she went to visit her friends. Now, after his arrest, Bryant repeatedly tried to get out on bond, but it was continuously denied because everyone knew he was a threat to the general public, so there was no way that was happening. He also had a burglary charge added in relation to Alicia Bates' case. Now, during this time, the Morales family continued to demand justice and accountability. They believe the Gwinnett County Police Department failed to properly investigate Susana's disappearance and that the Dorville Police Department was negligent in hiring Bryant.
We're just holding on to the fact that we were going to see her again one day, and that any day she would walk through those doors.
For Susana Morales' older sister, Jasmine, there's still a lot of raw emotion. It's been more than 7 months since 16-year-old Susana vanished, and just about a month since her remains were found.
No amount of money, no amount of justice will ever bring her back to us. What we can do is try and make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else again, and that's why we're here today.
Susana's family gathered Thursday to share their concerns about the case, to demand justice and push for changes to missing person investigations.
She's never done anything to anyone. We do not want the person responsible for this to be free. We want them to receive justice, and we do not want them to receive bail.
During a news conference Thursday morning, the family said they want to make sure Susana's death changes something to protect others in the future by changing policies and police hiring practices.
We want to make sure that her death means something and it changes something in this world.
So let's talk about that for a second. We already know, as we discussed earlier, there is a huge problem in this country of police departments, news outlets, whoever, covering and taking very seriously white people's disappearances, but not those of color and indigenous. So, yes, I agree with them. And also that Bryant had a history and had been reported for stalking and other issues that he was having, but yet they hired him anyway. So I can see where the family's coming from, and if it was me, I would be doing the same thing that they are. On the 1-year anniversary of Susana's disappearance, her family gathered at her grave to remember her.
They came here today with flowers, but at the same time, they were crying out for justice. They miss Susana very much. Her mother and sister were among the group who laid flowers on the grave today. They say bringing flowers gave them a sense of peace, but they are also seeking justice.
There were multiple indications that this individual presented a danger There was a previous allegation of stalking, prior acts of acting inappropriate towards other young women by Miles Bryant. City of Doraville was put on notice of these issues and did an internal investigation, but took no corrective actions.
In January of 2024, yet another charge was added to Bryant. He now faced 5 charges: malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping, false report of a crime, and attempted rape. The trial was initially supposed to start in early June, but it was postponed for just a little bit due to the added charges. And during this time, the Morales family also filed a lawsuit against the apartment complex for negligence, arguing they should have known Bryant was a threat, the residents should have been notified, and they failed to provide adequate security. Now, did they do a background check? I would think not, because that should have been on there. And if they did do a background check and let him still have that job, that's a separate issue. But either way, I'm not an attorney, but I still would think that they would be liable for that because they didn't do their due diligence in keeping their residents safe. In mid-June of 2024, Miles Bryant was found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping, false report of a crime, and his sentence was handed down.
Good evening. Has the jury reached a verdict? Okay, if you'll hand it to my bailiff. Thank you. All right. State of Georgia versus Miles Bryant. Indictment number 24B-00156-4. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 3, kidnapping. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 4, criminal attempt to commit rape. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Count 5, false report of a crime. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Signed June 12th, 2024 by the foreperson. Mr. Bryant, on count 1, malice murder, I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. Count 2 and count 3, I believe, vacate as operation of law. Count 5, I sentence you to 12 months, which is the maximum I can, consecutive to your life without the possibility of parole. Thank you.
The case of Susana Morales is heartbreaking and a tragic reminder of how many failures exist in our justice system. From the initial dismissiveness of law enforcement, the missed warnings surrounding Miles Bryant's behavior by the apartment complex, so many things went wrong in this case. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the injustice of it all. There's a constant theme in our country. I've said it twice. I'll say it again. It's called missing white woman syndrome, because there's so many times Black women and Indigenous women are not treated the same as white women when they go missing. From police taking it seriously to news coverage, it is sad and it needs to stop. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's our case for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe out there.